Chosen one, listen carefully. This message is not meant for everyone. If you are not walking the divine path of God, if your heart is not aligned with truth and light, you should stop watching now. But if you are truly chosen, if you know deep within your spirit that God has marked you for a higher purpose, then stay. Because this message has reached you at the exact moment you needed it. Nothing here is coincidence. The timing is divine, and what you are about to hear will open your eyes and strengthen your discernment. The Spirit led you here for a reason. God is revealing something hidden, something that has been quietly working against you, even within your own family. The truth will shake you, but it will also set you free. Chosen one, your family may smile in your face, but the Spirit wants you to see beyond the surface, to understand what is truly happening around you. Before we begin, I want you to comment 999 below as a declaration of divine protection over your life. Subscribe to Rise of the Chosen, tap the bell, and share this message so other chosen ones can awaken to this truth. Stay until the end, because what you will learn today might just save you from the trap that has been forming around you. This revelation is coming straight from the throne of God. The unseen war within the family. Chosen one. As you rise in the Spirit and walk deeper with God, you begin to see life through a different lens. What once seemed ordinary begins to reveal spiritual patterns hidden beneath the surface. The truth is, the greatest spiritual battles rarely come from strangers or enemies far away. They come from those closest to you, the ones you love, the ones who share your blood. That is where the unseen war begins. When you awaken to your divine purpose, your light disturbs the darkness in others. The energy of God that radiates from you exposes every hidden intention, every unhealed wound, and every silent jealousy that has been lying dormant around you. The very people who once supported you may now feel uncomfortable in your presence, not because you have wronged them, but because your light reminds their spirit of the truth they've been avoiding. This is the unseen spiritual warfare that takes place within the family. It is not physical, it is deeply spiritual. You see, darkness cannot attack what it cannot reach, so it often works through those who are closest to you. The enemy will not come wearing horns or holding a weapon. He will come through the words, actions, and emotions of people who know your weaknesses, who understand your heart, and who can reach the deepest parts of your trust. That is why many chosen ones find their greatest wounds coming not from the world, but from their own home. Look back at divine history, chosen one. Every true servant of God has faced this kind of betrayal. Joseph's brothers envied the dreams that God gave him and sold him into slavery. Cain rose against Abel because Abel's offering was accepted while his own was not. Even Jesus himself said that a prophet is without honor in his own home. The pattern repeats because light and darkness cannot dwell in the same space, even when they share the same bloodline. When your family sees the favor of God upon you, something within their spirit reacts. They might not understand why they feel anger, irritation, or resentment toward you, but the energy is real. What they feel is conviction. The light you carry exposes what they have refused to confront within themselves. You might notice that conversations become colder, that joy disappears when you speak about your blessings or your spiritual growth. They might roll their eyes when you mention prayer or faith, or suddenly act distant after moments of your breakthrough. It is not that they consciously decided to hate you. It's that the darkness working within them recognizes the light inside you. This is what the Bible means when it says, We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers. Your family is not the true enemy, chosen one. They are being used as vessels, temporarily influenced by energies that fear your divine destiny. This unseen war is not meant to destroy you. It is meant to awaken you. God allows you to see these things so you can grow in wisdom and discernment. Once you begin to perceive the hidden intentions behind the smiles, you will stop being surprised by betrayal. You will stop feeling heartbroken when others turn cold, because you will understand that their spirit is reacting to something divine inside of you. Do not hate them. Do not fight them with anger. The moment you begin to fight flesh with flesh, you step out of alignment with your divine assignment. This war is not won by shouting or arguing. It is won through silence, prayer, and obedience to God. You must learn to see beyond the physical and recognize when spiritual manipulation is taking place. When certain family members suddenly begin to gossip, turn others against you, or drain your energy with constant negativity, know that this is not just coincidence. The enemy is trying to use emotional access to weaken your spirit. But here is the truth. Every time they plot, every time they gossip, every time they underestimate you, they are unknowingly pushing you closer to your purpose. God uses the betrayal of family to train his chosen ones in discernment and emotional strength. The pain you feel today is the wisdom you will use tomorrow. You are being prepared to stand alone if you must, to depend fully on the Spirit of God rather than human approval. There will come a time when God separates you from familiar environments so that your faith can grow without interference. This is not rejection. It is protection. It is the divine isolation that happens before divine elevation. The moment you stop expecting understanding from those who have not walked your path, you will feel the weight lift from your heart. You will realize that your peace was never meant to depend on their acceptance. Chosen one, understand this deeply. Your spiritual awakening has disrupted the atmosphere of your family. It has exposed spirits that once hid behind laughter and affection. You are not imagining it. You are discerning it. What you sense is real, and God wants you to stay aware, not afraid. The unseen war within your family is proof that heaven has chosen you. The resistance you face is a sign that your calling is powerful and that the enemy fears what you are becoming. So guard your heart and stay alert. Pray before you speak, observe before you react, and keep your spirit rooted in peace. The battle is real, but so is your protection. The same God who revealed the truth to you will also shield you from every scheme that rises against you. You are not fighting alone. Heaven is standing with you, watching over you, guiding every step you take through this hidden war. Signs your family is plotting against you. Chosen one, when God opens your spiritual eyes, you begin to see beyond words and actions. You start to sense things that others overlook, the tone behind the smile, the energy behind the hug, the silence that feels heavier than words. This is discernment, the gift that allows the chosen ones to perceive spiritual truth hidden beneath ordinary behavior. The moment you receive divine favor, the enemy begins to stir in those closest to you, and often it manifests through subtle signs that your family is not truly standing with you, but quietly standing against you. The first sign, chosen one, is a shift in energy. You will feel it before you see it. Where there was once warmth and laughter, you now sense tension, unease, or a quiet distance. They avoid eye contact when you speak about your goals, or they change the subject when you mention what God is doing in your life. The atmosphere feels strange, as if your presence makes them uncomfortable. This is because the light within you is convicting their spirits. They see your growth and feel exposed by your obedience. The second sign is mockery disguised as concern. They might make small comments like, "Don't get too deep into that God stuff," or "You're taking this too seriously." They will laugh at your faith, your visions, or your declarations, trying to make you doubt what you know God has placed in your heart. They will present themselves as logical, but their words carry the vibration of fear and jealousy. When you stand firm in divine truth, those who live by the flesh feel threatened by your certainty. The third sign is that your blessings start to bother them. When you share your small victories instead of celebrating, they respond with silence or sarcasm. They may downplay your achievements or redirect attention to themselves. You'll notice they only seem supportive when you're struggling, but when you begin to rise, their tone changes. That's because your elevation reminds them of their stagnation. Remember, chosen one, jealousy is not always loud. Sometimes it hides behind fake smiles and quiet resentment. The fourth sign is spiritual interference after intimacy. Pay attention to what happens after you share your plans or pray with certain family members. Do you notice unusual confusion, emotional heaviness, or sudden conflict afterward? That's not random. Energy transfers through conversation and emotional connection. When the wrong spirit gains access to your intentions, it sows resistance into your path. This is why God instructs His chosen to move in silence. What they don't know, they can't curse. Another sign is betrayal through gossip. When your name begins to appear in conversations you weren't part of. When private matters start circulating within the family, know that a plot is forming. They may twist your words, exaggerate your mistakes, or make you seem ungrateful or arrogant. They do this to damage your credibility and isolate you emotionally. But do not despair. Every false tongue will eventually reveal its own deceit. The truth always rises to the surface because God Himself defends His chosen ones. You may also notice patterns of emotional manipulation. They will use guilt to keep control, saying things like, "You've changed," or "You think you're better than us now." What they really mean is that you're no longer under their influence. They can no longer pull your strings through guilt or fear, and that threatens their sense of power. They may even pretend to be victims, turning others in the family against you to make you doubt yourself. But you must stay grounded. Manipulation thrives on emotional reaction. The less you react, the weaker their control becomes. Then comes the pattern of sabotage. Sometimes, chosen one, you will share a plan, an idea, or a project, and immediately obstacles appear. People forget to help, resources vanish, opportunities collapse without explanation. This is no accident. Someone you trusted may be praying against you in secret, consciously or unconsciously, speaking words that block your path. Not every prayer is from God. The enemy loves to disguise curses as concern. That is why discernment is crucial. Guard your dreams, as Joseph should have guarded his, for not everyone who listens deserves to hear divine plans. Another sign is that your spiritual peace feels disrupted when they are near. You feel drained after talking to them, even if nothing negative was said. Their presence carries heaviness, their eyes lack warmth, and your spirit feels uneasy. That unease is not your imagination. It is divine warning. The Holy Spirit within you is alerting you that something around you is not pure. When you feel this, do not ignore it. Step back, pray for clarity, and ask God to reveal the truth without harm or conflict. Sometimes, chosen one, you will also notice that family members begin to form alliances against you. They share a common discontent toward your lifestyle, your choices, or your beliefs. They whisper together, avoid including you, or suddenly treat you like an outsider. Do not see this as loss. It says, it is exposure. The Spirit of God is showing you who truly walks with you and who only walks with you for personal benefit. The isolation that follows is not a punishment, it is protection. You may even see financial or emotional patterns change. The same people who once offered support begin to withhold it. They delay help, ignore your needs, or secretly hope for your downfall. You might sense their energy when you speak of breakthroughs, a hidden wish that you fail so they can feel superior again. This is not love, it is spiritual competition rooted in envy. God is revealing this so you stop depending on them for validation and turn your full dependence toward Him. Chosen one, do not let these signs harden your heart. They are not meant to make you bitter, but to make you aware. Awareness is your armor. When you recognize that these behaviors stem from spiritual influence rather than personal hatred, you can forgive without forgetting. You will no longer react out of pain, but move out of purpose. The moment you stop trying to make them understand, you free yourself from their control. Every chosen one must pass through this test of loyalty and betrayal. It is part of your divine training. God allows the hidden plots to come to light so you learn to trust His voice more than any human promise. The very ones who turn against you today will one day witness the fulfillment of your destiny. They will see that every attempt to stop you only accelerated what God ordained for you. If any of these signs have resonated with your spirit, if you have felt the hidden tension, the silent rejection, or the spiritual heaviness around those you love, then you are not alone. Many chosen ones around the world are facing the same silent warfare. Comment 333 below as a sign that you have received divine revelation. Let the number be your reminder that God is revealing truth and bringing clarity to your heart. Stay strong, chosen one, for now that you see the signs, you will never walk blind again. Why God allows betrayal from family. Chosen one, there comes a moment in every divine journey when God allows something that feels unbearable, the betrayal of those you love. You cry out and ask, why would God let this happen? Why would He allow the ones closest to me to become my biggest source of pain? But the truth is, chosen one, betrayal is not a sign that God has forsaken you. It is a sign that He is preparing you. Every chosen vessel must pass through this fire, because only fire can reveal what is pure. You see, God allows betrayal not to break you, but to build you. When your heart is wounded by those you trusted most, you are forced to turn your eyes away from human approval and fix them on divine direction. Betrayal detaches you from emotional dependencies and attachments that could have limited your purpose. Sometimes the only way God can separate you from the wrong influences is through pain. It hurts deeply, but that pain is the sound of spiritual surgery. God cutting away what can no longer go with you into your next level. Remember Joseph, chosen one. His brothers plotted against him, sold him into slavery, and thought they had destroyed his destiny. But in truth, their betrayal was the transportation that carried him to his throne. Without their envy, he would have never reached Egypt. Without their deception, he would have never been positioned to save nations. What they meant for evil, God used for elevation. The same pattern is at work in your life. What looks like rejection is often redirection. God allows betrayal because He is repositioning you for divine expansion. Betrayal is also a divine test of heart. God uses it to measure your capacity to love and forgive, even when wronged. If you can still pray for those who hurt you, you prove that your heart is aligned with God's nature. Anyone can love when treated well, but true spiritual maturity is proven in how you respond to offense. When you choose peace over vengeance, heaven takes notice. God sees that you are not ruled by emotion but led by spirit, and that is when he begins to trust you with greater anointing. The betrayal from your family exposes the depth of your faith. It shows whether you will cling to bitterness or walk in forgiveness. You cannot carry divine authority while holding grudges. God knows that your destiny requires a clean heart. So he allows this betrayal to surface so that every trace of pride, pain, and resentment can be purified. The betrayal is the fire, and your heart is the gold. Only through the flame does gold reveal its shine. Another reason God allows betrayal is to reveal true loyalty. Sometimes you have surrounded yourself with people who say they love you, but in truth, they only love the version of you that serves them. The moment you start walking in divine independence, their hidden intentions are exposed. God lets this happen so that when he blesses you, those who remain will be the ones who truly deserve to witness your breakthrough. The betrayal removes the counterfeit connections so that genuine support can enter your life. Chosen one, God also uses betrayal to strengthen your discernment. Before you can lead others, you must first learn to see through deception. You cannot be a shepherd of souls if you cannot identify wolves in sheep's clothing. Every tear you've cried from family rejection has sharpened your spiritual senses. It has trained you to listen beyond words and feel the vibration of truth behind every action. This spiritual maturity will protect you from future traps and allow you to walk in divine wisdom. You must understand, chosen one, that betrayal is also a mirror. It shows you how deeply you depend on others for validation. Many times we place our identity in the hands of those who don't even understand our calling. We crave their acceptance, not realizing that their inability to see our worth is part of God's design. He blinds them temporarily so you can learn to hear his voice without needing their approval. He allows rejection to wean you off the need for recognition. The moment you realize that their opinion cannot define your value, you become unshakable. Even Jesus faced this lesson. Judas sat at his table, ate his bread, and still plotted his downfall. Yet Jesus never cursed him. Instead, he said, "Do what you came to do." He understood that Judas's betrayal was necessary for prophecy to be fulfilled. Without Judas, there would be no cross. Without the cross, there would be no resurrection. Every chosen one must encounter their Judas. Your betrayal is not a failure of discernment. It is a fulfillment of destiny. Sometimes God allows betrayal because he wants to move you to a new environment where your purpose can flourish. You may have been too comfortable, too attached, too dependent on familiar surroundings, so God allows discomfort to push you out. Betrayal becomes the divine wind that drives you toward new territory. When your family closes the door on you, God opens one much greater, one they could never have led you to. The pain of their rejection is the key that unlocks your expansion. You may not see it now, chosen one, but every act of betrayal carries divine timing. The moment you are betrayed, heaven begins rearranging your destiny. You will look back one day and realize that their plots were the very path that led you into God's promise. The betrayal is not your end, it is your beginning. Every chosen soul has to walk alone for a season. That isolation is divine preparation. God is pulling you away from human noise so you can hear his voice clearly. So do not let your heart grow weary. When you feel forgotten, remember that you are being hidden. God hides his treasures before he reveals them. When your family turned away, heaven turned toward you. When they spoke lies, God began speaking truth over you. When they thought they had silenced you, God was amplifying your voice in the Spirit. This is why you must not retaliate. Remain still, stay faithful, and watch what God will do. Chosen one, betrayal refines your destiny the same way pressure creates a diamond. Every painful word, every false accusation, every cold shoulder is molding your spirit into something indestructible. Do not despise the process. What God is doing in you is greater than what they have done to you. Soon, the same people who laughed at your downfall will witness your restoration. They will realize that they were never working against you. They were working for you, unknowingly pushing you into your purpose. Now, lift your head, chosen one. Wipe your tears and thank God for every closed door, for every lie, for every betrayal. It was all necessary. Without it, you would have stayed in comfort, blind to your true strength. But because of it, you will now rise with divine wisdom, sharper vision, and a purified heart. God allowed their betrayal because He loves you too much to let you remain surrounded by small minds and shallow spirits. You are being elevated, and betrayal was the bridge that carried you there. How to respond to family betrayal. Chosen one, when betrayal comes from those you love, the natural reaction is to fight back, to expose the truth, to make them feel the pain you felt. But that is not the way of divine wisdom. The path of the chosen one is not about revenge. It is about revelation and restraint. The enemy wants you to respond in the flesh, to become angry, to lose your peace, because once you react from emotion, you step out of alignment with God's protection. The first thing you must understand is that silence is your greatest weapon. You don't need to explain yourself to those who are committed to misunderstanding you. You don't have to prove your innocence when God Himself will reveal it in time. When you realize that family has plotted against you, your spirit will tremble at first. You will feel the sting of disbelief. How could blood turn against you? But chosen one, take a deep breath and remind yourself that nothing happens without divine permission. God has already seen this before it unfolded, and He allowed it for a greater purpose. Do not react with anger. Step back, pray, and observe. When you stay silent, heaven begins to speak for you. The energy of peace is stronger than the noise of chaos. The second step is forgiveness, and I know that sounds impossible. How do you forgive those who lied, deceived, or betrayed you? But forgiveness is not weakness. It is warfare. It severs the spiritual tie that keeps you bound to their actions. When you forgive, you remove the hook that the enemy tries to use to pull you back into bitterness. Forgiveness doesn't mean you trust them again. It means you refuse to carry the poison of hate. The moment you let go, God steps in. He cannot pour new blessings into a heart filled with resentment. Release them and let God handle what you cannot. Chosen one, you must also learn to guard your energy. Every conversation is an exchange of spirit. After betrayal, the enemy will use emotional traps to pull you into arguments, guilt, and confusion. They will provoke you to react, so they can paint you as unstable or ungrateful. Do not fall into that trap. Guard your peace like sacred treasure. If you feel your spirit being drained after speaking with certain people, that is your sign to limit contact. You owe no one access to your energy, especially those who have proven they misuse it. Protect your space. This is not arrogance. This is obedience to your calling. The next divine response is silence and secrecy. Do not share your visions, your plans, or your progress with those who once betrayed you. God often hides your blessings from them for a reason. The less they know, the less they can interfere. Even if they ask out of curiosity, speak gently but vaguely. Move in silence, pray in private, and let your results speak in public. The chosen ones are like seeds. Their growth is silent but powerful. Let God reveal your fruit in His time. Another crucial response is spiritual reinforcement. When betrayal hits, your spirit becomes vulnerable. That's when you must strengthen your connection with God through fasting, prayer, and reading His Word. Do not allow sadness to disconnect you from the divine source of your strength. Pray daily for protection and discernment. Say, "Lord, remove anyone whose heart carries hidden harm toward me. Surround me with your light so that no darkness can dwell near my spirit." When you pray with authority, heaven moves. Angels stand guard where your emotions cannot. Chosen one, it is also vital to keep your focus on purpose. Betrayal is meant to distract you from your mission. The more you dwell on their actions, the less time you spend fulfilling your divine assignment. Don't let their plot delay your progress. Every minute spent in pain is energy taken from your purpose. Instead, use that pain as fuel. Let it sharpen your resolve. Remember, Joseph didn't waste time seeking revenge on his brothers. He used his suffering as preparation for leadership. Likewise, your response must be progress. Keep building, keep praying, keep creating. Let your success be the loudest response to every hidden plan against you. Sometimes God will ask you to distance yourself completely. That separation is not punishment, but protection. Do not feel guilty for stepping away. Even Jesus withdrew from his hometown when the people did not honor him. When the environment becomes spiritually toxic, distance becomes deliverance. God may remove you from the table so He can prepare one for you elsewhere. Trust that separation. The same family that rejected you will one day watch God's hand exalt you in ways they can't deny. You must also learn to bless those who curse you. Speak life over their names, even when they speak death over yours. This is not for them, it's for you. Every time you bless, you release divine energy that protects your spirit from retaliation. The chosen ones fight differently. You don't need to confront. Your peace is confrontation enough. The peace of a chosen one unsettles those driven by darkness. Keep shining. Let your light expose their shadow without saying a word. Understand this, chosen one. God's justice doesn't always come in thunder or fire. Sometimes it comes in quiet reversals. The very people who tried to harm you will end up needing your help. The ones who mocked you will watch as you rise. That is why you must not stain your hands with vengeance. Stay pure, stay humble, and let divine justice unfold in its own time. You don't need to announce your vindication. The evidence will speak for itself when the season shifts. When the pain feels unbearable, remind yourself that even betrayal has an expiration date. It won't last forever. What feels like loss today is the birth of your next chapter. You will soon see that everything they did pushed you closer to destiny. Every wound became a doorway to wisdom. Every rejection became a redirection toward the divine purpose you were born to fulfill. Chosen one, the greatest victory you can ever achieve over betrayal is peace. When they see you smiling, walking in grace and unbothered, it confuses the enemy. That peace is proof that God has taken over your battle. So lift your head, breathe deeply, and remember, you don't have to fight to prove your strength. Your restraint is your strength. Your forgiveness is your shield. Your silence is your sword. Do not waste time asking why they did what they did. Focus on what God is doing now. He is rewriting your story while they are still repeating the old one. He is preparing a table before you in the presence of those who tried to destroy you. And when that moment comes, your only duty will be to thank God for turning pain into purpose. So stand firm, chosen one. Respond not with rage, but with revelation. Respond not with hate, but with holiness. The same God who allowed the betrayal will use it to build the blessing that no one will be able to take away from you. From betrayed to elevated, your divine transformation. Chosen one, you must understand that the story of your betrayal is not a story of defeat. It is a story of divine transformation. What was meant to destroy you has become the very instrument that God is using to shape you. Every chosen soul must pass through the valley of betrayal before standing on the mountain of destiny. That valley is where your strength is forged, your faith is purified, and your heart is molded into the image of divine endurance. You cannot be anointed without being broken first, and betrayal is the chisel God uses to carve away the pieces of your soul that cannot enter your next season. When your family turned against you, you thought you were being abandoned, but you were being promoted in disguise. God separated you because he knew you could not elevate while still surrounded by those who doubted you. The betrayal was a spiritual graduation. You passed a test that many fail, the test of remaining faithful even when you were wounded. The moment they rejected you, heaven began to prepare a seat with your name on it. What felt like isolation was actually initiation into divine purpose. Chosen one, do you remember how Joseph sat in a prison cell forgotten by the very people he helped? He could have turned bitter, but he chose to stay humble. And at the appointed time, God lifted him from the dungeon to the throne. That's what betrayal does. It positions you for elevation. You might not see it now, but your pain is the soil where God is planting your future. Every tear that fell from your eyes was a seed of transformation. Every lonely night was a classroom where your soul learned what true dependence on God means. When you were betrayed, you learned to stop chasing validation. You discovered that peace doesn't come from people. It comes from presence, the presence of the Holy Spirit. Before the betrayal, you might have relied on family for comfort, for guidance, for belonging. But when they turned against you, God became your only refuge. That's when your faith deepened. That's when your prayers became more sincere, your worship more intimate. The betrayal stripped away everything false so that what was real could remain. It taught you to stand alone, not in pride, but in divine confidence. This transformation is not just emotional, it is spiritual and energetic. You are not the same person you were before the betrayal. You've been refined by fire. The pain that once made you cry now makes you wise. You've learned to read silence, to feel intentions, to discern spirits. You no longer fall for empty words or fake affection because you've seen what betrayal looks like in its most personal form. You are not bitter. You are balanced. You have gained the rare ability to love people without depending on them. That, chosen one, is divine maturity. Your betrayal has also increased your spiritual authority. Every wound you've endured gives you the right to heal others who suffer the same. The chosen ones are not trained in comfort. They are trained in crisis. That is why your journey has been harder than others. God needed you to understand pain so that when you speak, your words carry power. The empathy you've gained is not weakness. It is your weapon. You can now look someone in the eyes and say, "I've been there," and your spirit carries the anointing to break their chains. You have turned your suffering into spiritual currency. When God elevates you, He doesn't just change your circumstances, He changes your perception. What once looked like betrayal now looks like blessing. You begin to thank God for every closed door, every cold shoulder, every moment of rejection, because without them, you would have remained comfortable, ordinary, and spiritually asleep. Their betrayal woke you up. It pushed you into prayer. It ignited your divine calling. You wouldn't have become who you are now if you had stayed surrounded by those who never believed in you. Their opposition was the proof of your distinction. Chosen one, remember this truth. Before God reveals you to the world, He will first conceal you in the wilderness. That wilderness season after betrayal is where your transformation happens. It is lonely, but it is sacred. It is where you learn to hear God's voice above the noise of human opinions. It's where your spirit grows stronger, where your discernment sharpens, and where your destiny begins to take shape. You will emerge from this wilderness not the same as you entered. You will carry the calmness of one who has walked through storms and survived. You will carry authority born not from position, but from pain overcome. Do not rush this transformation. Divine elevation has stages. First, the breaking, then the isolation, then the revelation, and finally, the manifestation. You are somewhere between isolation and revelation right now. God is whispering truths to you that few can understand. He's showing you glimpses of the greatness He has prepared. The betrayal was only the door to this season. The rest of your journey is the unfolding of His promise. Stay still, stay faithful, and do not look back. The ones who hurt you are part of your history, not your destiny. As you rise, some will try to re-enter your life. They will notice your peace, your progress, your power, and they will suddenly remember your worth. You must discern their intentions. Forgive, but do not forget. Welcome them with grace, but protect your boundaries with wisdom. Elevation attracts attention, but not all attention is pure. Some will come to study your glow, not to celebrate it. Guard your heart and let your actions remain guided by divine discernment. You are no longer the person who seeks approval. You are the person who seeks alignment. Chosen one, your transformation is a living testimony. The same people who thought your end had come will witness your rebirth. They will see you thrive without their help, smile without their validation, and shine without their support. They will realize that their betrayal was the catalyst that awakened your power. You don't have to explain yourself or seek their recognition. Your growth will speak louder than their gossip ever did. The glow they mocked will become the light that exposes their intentions. So stand tall, chosen one. The betrayal was your breaking, but it was also your becoming. You have shed old layers of fear, insecurity, and dependence. You've risen from ashes that others left behind. You've transformed from victim to victor, from wounded to wise, from rejected to resurrected. This is what divine elevation looks like, silent, sacred, and unstoppable. Every step of your pain was a step toward purpose. Every night of tears watered the roots of your resilience. Every moment of rejection cleared the path for revelation. Now, as you rise, do not carry bitterness, carry wisdom. Do not seek revenge, seek refinement. The one who betrayed you gave you a gift. They showed you who you truly are. And now, chosen one, the heavens are declaring your promotion. You have graduated from wounded to awakened, from betrayed to blessed, from forgotten to favored. This is your divine transformation, and no one, not even those who plotted against you, can stop what God has already ordained. Staying grounded and guarded in the spiritual realm. Chosen one, after betrayal and transformation comes a new stage of your divine journey. The stage where you must remain grounded and spiritually guarded. The higher God elevates you, the more you must protect your spirit. Many rise in power but fall in pride. Many awaken spiritually but forget the discipline required to sustain divine light. Your elevation means nothing if you do not learn how to remain centered in truth and anchored in peace. Staying grounded is not weakness. It is spiritual mastery. It is the ability to walk in power without arrogance, to hold wisdom without boasting, and to shine brightly without burning out. Chosen one, staying grounded begins with humility before God. No matter how much knowledge, revelation, or spiritual insight you receive, never forget the source. Every day, bow your heart in gratitude. Speak to God as you did when you were still broken. Remember where He brought you from. The loneliness, the confusion, the betrayal. Let your gratitude keep your feet on holy ground. When your heart stays humble, the enemy cannot corrupt your spirit. Pride opens spiritual doors that darkness can easily enter. But humility builds walls of divine protection around your soul. To stay grounded, you must also remain rooted in spiritual discipline. Prayer is not an event. It is a lifestyle. Chosen one, pray not only when you are in need, but also when you are in peace. Prayer keeps your spiritual channel clean, allowing the voice of God to flow through you clearly. Each morning, begin your day with gratitude and declaration. Speak divine truth over your life. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. I walk in light, and darkness has no power over me. These daily affirmations fortify your spirit and align your energy with heaven's frequency. At night, cleanse your spirit. Before you sleep, release all burdens and invite peace into your mind. Whisper, God, renew me as I rest, protect my dreams from intrusion, and restore my energy for tomorrow. The spiritual realm never sleeps. Chosen one, but your faith creates a shield even while you rest. An unguarded mind is an open gate. That's why many experience spiritual attacks through dreams or anxiety. Keep your heart anchored in prayer and your space anointed with God's presence. Another key to staying grounded is to guard your environment. The company you keep influences your energy. Not everyone who smiles carries good intentions. As you elevate, some will come with hidden motives, seeking to drain your light or benefit from your grace. You must discern who feeds your soul and who feeds off it. Spend time with those who speak life, who inspire you to grow closer to God. Avoid gossip, negativity, and people who carry the vibration of confusion. Spiritual hygiene is as important as physical cleanliness. You must cleanse your environment regularly through prayer, worship, and positive energy. Chosen one, understand that peace is a weapon. The world may try to provoke you, but when you refuse to react, you disarm the enemy. Stay calm even when chaos surrounds you. That calmness is divine strength. The enemy thrives on emotional reaction. Your peace starves him. When insults come, bless them. When betrayal repeats, smile in silence. You are not fighting flesh, you are dealing with spirit. The moment you master your emotions, you master the battlefield. Remember, the chosen ones don't win by force, they win by faith. Grounding also means staying connected to truth. In a world full of distractions and illusions, you must constantly align your thoughts with God's word. Read scripture, meditate, and listen for divine instruction. The Bible is not just a book, it is a spiritual mirror. It reveals who you are and reminds you of your authority. When confusion tries to creep in, speak the word aloud. Light drives out darkness, and truth dismantles lies. Every verse you declare becomes a sword in the spirit. Chosen one, do not isolate yourself completely. While separation was necessary for your healing, community is necessary for your growth. Surround yourself with other spiritual warriors, those who understand your journey and walk in integrity. Fellowship strengthens your spirit and reminds you that you are not alone in this divine battle. When two or more gather in truth, the presence of God becomes amplified. Divine community is not about numbers, It's about connection. Seek those whose spirit resonates with peace, purpose, and purity. Another vital practice is silence. Learn to spend time alone with God without speaking. In stillness, revelation flows. The world shouts, but God whispers. When you quiet your mind, you become sensitive to His voice. In that silence, you will receive answers that no human could give. The chosen ones are guided by intuition because they have learned to listen beyond noise. Protect that silence. Do not let the constant chatter of life drown the divine frequency within you. As you remain grounded, you must also stay guarded. Guard your heart, for it is the wellspring of life. Do not let bitterness sneak back in. Betrayal may have hardened you once, but do not let it make you cold. Keep your heart tender but wise. Forgive quickly but remember wisely. A guarded heart does not mean a closed heart. It means a heart aware of its value. Know that not everyone deserves full access to your spirit. Even Jesus had circles, the multitude, the 12, the 3, and then himself alone with God. Be wise with your circles, chosen one. Your energy is sacred. Protect it with prayer, with boundaries, and with discernment. When you sense spiritual heaviness, do not ignore it. Fast, pray, cleanse your space, and call on divine protection. The spiritual realm responds to authority, and you have that authority. Speak out loud, I am covered by the blood of the Lamb. Every negative spirit sent against me returns to the void. You do not beg for protection. You declare it, for God has already given it to you. Chosen one, the enemy cannot touch what is hidden in God's light. Stay grounded by humility, guarded by prayer, and guided by discernment. Continue walking in purity, no matter how the world tries to tempt or distract you. Your peace, your focus, and your faith are your spiritual armor. Remember, your journey does not end with betrayal or transformation. It continues in disciplined alignment. Heaven trusts those who protect what they've been given. So walk gently, speak wisely, and live righteously. Let your spirit remain calm even when storms rage. You are not just surviving, you are ascending. You are a vessel of divine light placed in a dark world. As long as you stay grounded in truth and guarded by faith, no weapon, no whisper, and no plot can pierce your spirit. The chosen one who remains grounded never falls, and the one who stays guarded never fears. Conclusion: your betrayal is your breakthrough. Chosen one, hear this final truth. Your betrayal was never meant to destroy you. It was designed to deliver you. What felt like the end was the beginning of your awakening. The hands that tried to break you were the very tools God used to build you. Every lie, every rejection, every tear was divine material shaping your destiny. You have walked through fire and come out purified. You have been isolated yet never abandoned. You were betrayed, but now you're becoming everything God said you would be. Your enemies thought they silenced you, but God was only preparing your voice. They thought they buried you, but they didn't know you were a seed. Every attempt to hold you down only pushed you deeper into the soil of transformation. And now, chosen one, you are rising, stronger, wiser, and unshakably anchored in divine truth. What was meant to humiliate you has become your elevation. So, lift your head. Forgive them, but never forget what God taught you through them. Your betrayal is the evidence of your calling. Only the chosen are tested like this, because only the chosen carry light strong enough to challenge darkness. Stand firm in peace and walk with power. If this message has spoken to your spirit, comment 444 below, the number of divine protection, as a declaration that you are covered, elevated, and walking in purpose. Subscribe to Rise of the Chosen, share this message, and spread this light to others who are awakening. Remember, Chosen One, the betrayal was your breakthrough, and your pain was the prophecy of your promotion. God has turned every wound into a doorway of glory. Now walk through it, in strength and in victory.